Hello, everyone, and welcome to Groovy Duke, your channel for all things groovy-lang. If you find these videos useful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so that more people can have a groovy day. So today we're going to be diving into the Groovy console, but to start, I'm going to just go through how to install Groovy. So what I recommend is getting SDK Man, and you can go to the SDK Man website and basically follow its instructions on how to install it. And then once you have it installed, we'll just go to the command line here, and I'm going to get myself out of the way. Once you have it installed, you have the SDK command, and you'll see there's a whole bunch of commands. So if I do SDK um, ls groovy, we can see all the versions. You can see which one is set as default and stuff like that. And to install a groovy version, we would take one of those versions and do SDK I groovy. Say it was like 4.0.0 is the one you want to install. Hit enter, and that would install Groovy for you. But I already have Groovy installed, so I'm going to run the Groovy console. And that should pop up any second now. And it pops up off screen, so I'll just pull that up here. And this is the Groovy console. So what you can do with the Groovy console is you can type in code here and just play around with Groovy code. So, let's do our first Groovy program, which is just going to be a print line, and we'll do hello world. I just want to make sure that has context. And then if I run it, you can see it prints out hello world down here. So it ran it down here. You'll see little execution completed, time elapsed, 500 milliseconds. So, we're not using any static compilation yet, or, we're not there yet. So it's running dynamically, which will be a bit slower, and it's doing, the compilation and all that on the fly. So you have this. There are, other things you might want to look at. The view, like set up. Some of these things aren't on by default. I don't remember which, but I have like auto clear, on run, so that when I run something again, it doesn't just accumulate. Um, and it has capture standard out and stuff like that. You make the font bigger or smaller. Obviously, since I'm demonstrating this, I have it a little bit bigger than I normally would. And then there's also there's some stuff under the script tab, which one of the things that I like to look at is this thing called inspect AST. So I mentioned, and I'm going to make this pin here so you can see the whole thing. I mentioned that Groovy has AST transforms. If you get into AST transforms, or if you just want to see what they're doing, what Groovy is doing at compile time, you can come into this AST browser, and it has these different phases. So you can, there's not a whole lot to look at the parsing phase, but if you go, further on, you'll see the code start getting, built up until it's like in its final form, and you can come down here and you can actually see what was added. So there's the main function is somewhere within here, but it adds a whole bunch of stuff that you just get for free, and it is running the print line hello world here. You can also look at bytecode and ASMR stuff like that. There's a thing where you can look at the various pieces of the code, like the constructors, the methods, the fields, and stuff like that. So you can, go right into the abstract syntax tree that the compiler builds up and see how it's actually kind of piecing together the code that you're running. So that's a very cool feature. We'll close that. We'll go back here. So just to show you, like, yeah, I did print line, but if I wanted to, I could use, let's see, how not insert. Let's do, what is it, system dot out dot print line, and I can run that. It does the same thing. So this is, you can use some traditional Java stuff. So it's like if you don't know Groovy, you can use Java, but I would say it is better to learn Groovy so that you don't have to be using the more verbose stuff. But you could take a piece of Java, copy paste it in here, and run it, and 99 times out of 100 it'll run exactly as expected. There are a couple features within Groovy where things won't run as expected within I think there was one edge case within polymorphism or something like that where Java will do something that intuitively you wouldn't expect, and where Groovy just does what you would expect it to do. And it's been so long, I don't remember what it was, so that's something I'll have to look up and do a video on in the future. But this is a very useful tool, and so I'm going to cut the video there. That's all I have for you today. So have a groovy one.